Within a few minutes of each other, they set out for the same destination, Little Rock Central High School. They did not know, nor, in the world of the South in the 1950s, would they have ever encountered each other before, except perhaps when they rode the same buses, or passed on a downtown street, or sat, on different levels, in a local movie theater. But within an hour or so they would, and from that moment on, their lives would be inextricably intertwined. For long after that, as long in fact as the tortured saga of relations between the races in the United States and everywhere else still mattered, or as long, when it came right down to it, as people can see, they would be linked. When Hazel got home that afternoon, she took off the dress and changed into something more comfortable, boys' jeans, perhaps. They didn't yet make them for girls, and hung it up for the next time. Doubtless there would be many next times, dances, dates, more school days, to put it on. But when Elizabeth removed her skirt that night, then folded it up and handed it to her mother, she already knew she would never wear it or even want to see it again. As everyone else was coming to recognize it, for a time, that simple cotton skirt was just about the most famous piece of clothing in the world, Elizabeth set out to forget about it. It promptly went into the attic, and no one, Elizabeth included, ever laid eyes on it again. Chapter 1. Elizabeth Eckford's house sat on a short stretch of West 18th Street, just off Peyton. Everything about the building and the land it rested on was compact, as if someone had sat down and figured out the smallest and most inexpensive way to fulfill a dream, a place of one's own. The home was squat and square, with 2 bedrooms on a single floor, along with a crawl space below and a small attic, accessible only via a ladder. The place was rudimentary, unfinished. The pine floors, for instance, had never been varnished. The front yard was tidy and tiny. There was room for a small garden or a lawn, but not really enough for both, and certainly not enough for a tree. No one had ever bothered with the backyard, where a big rock stuck out of the dirt. A local black doctor, who'd grown rich performing abortions and speculating in real estate, had built it in the late 1940s, and the Eckfords, Elizabeth's parents, Oscar Jr., and Bertie, her older sister Anna, and her younger brothers, Oscar III and Bolden, were the first folks ever to live there, moving in on Elizabeth's 8th birthday in October 1949. That was a time, shortly after World War II, when if you scrambled enough, even the relatively poor could own their own homes. The house had grown with the family, as 2 more children, Melbert Dawn and Catherine, had come along. The Eckfords had added a couple of rooms to the back. Little Rock in the Eisenhower era was a racial checkerboard, with blocks of whites and blocks of blacks interspersed throughout large parts of the city. To delineate the racial boundaries, one needed only to look up — there were no streetlights in the black neighborhoods — or down. The white blocks were paved, while the black ones were clay, though they were always covered with oil. It tamped down the dust whenever elections loomed. Elizabeth's mother had always hated the neighborhood. She'd grown up in the sticks, in the hamlet of Pettis, Arkansas, 35 miles or so east of Little Rock. Her education there was spotty, scheduled around the crop year. Like promising and ambitious blacks throughout the state, she'd come to Little Rock by herself as a teenager to attend the prestigious all-black Dunbar High School, earning her keep by cleaning the home of the black schoolteacher with whom she lived. The schoolteacher had evidently taken on the country girl as her personal project, refurbishing her language and cleaning up her grammar. Bertie became a stickler herself, correcting her children whenever they split infinitives. She never liked the home on West 18th Street, with many lots either still wooded or empty. A cow grazed on one. The area reminded her of the countryside she had fled. Once a year, Elizabeth would visit her.